speech like this, I have a tendency to talk really fast, so if you need to give me the signal to slow down, please do. The fact that I've drank a couple of cups of coffee probably isn't going to help that. So, anyway, just want to give a shout out early on. I'm not going to name names here, but a couple of different members here from Bridge really inspired what I'm going to say here tonight. And really what I'm hoping to accomplish is to give everybody here a better idea of why I'm standing here and why I've chosen to stick around and work with Bridge. This is a question I've been asking myself for quite a while, and quite honestly, this opportunity is what finally allowed me to arrive to that answer. And I've been coaching for a while now in a number of different programs, but this is the one that has meant the most to me, and I feel like I've been able to make the greatest amount of impact. So when David set out the prompt about Bridge, and not even necessarily having to do with the name of the program, I started thinking a lot about the bridges in our lives, right? So we're all familiar with physical bridges and what they do, and we all know that basically the premise there is that it gets us from point A to point B. So that's our physical bridge in life. But what we really do as a metaphorical bridge is we build bridges in our lives every single day. So we build bridges in our career, we build bridges in our education, we build bridges everywhere. We build bridges to get ourselves from point A to point B, networking, anything you imagine. Small bridges, big bridges, everything in between. But what I really got down to thinking about is probably the hardest bridge that anybody tries to build in their life is raising a child. I think everybody here, if you have a child, if you work with children, any of that, that's the biggest challenge. You're going to try to get that child from childhood to adulthood. There are a lot of obstacles along the way. It's just a scary proposition, right? So started thinking about that and started thinking about what that means in the context of Bridge and everything. So if you'll bear with me, what I'm going to do is you're going to have to hang out with me and kind of use your imagination here, but I'm going to give you two kids side by side, and we think this is the gap that Bridge fills. Over here on the left, you've got somebody by the name of Suze. Suze is really smart, she's very talented, she's well-mannered, everything. Over here on the right, you have Tansy, same deal. Really smart, educated, talented, all the above. If you were to stack them side by side, standing here in front of me, they look exactly the same. They're virtually identical in every way. Wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Here's where the difference lies with them. And I'm going to stack the deck on either side so people can better understand this. Over here with Suze, you have her coming from a background where she comes from a predominantly white, suburban, affluent area. Over here, out of the right, you have Tansy, who comes from probably an area that is less affluent, probably more minority, and probably urban. And so the opportunities, as we know, the statistics add up on this, the proof is out there in the data and the science. What it tells us is the opportunities over here for somebody like Suze exist. There's a lot of avenues and opportunities and a lot of bridges already in place that already exist for her to get from her childhood to her adulthood safely. For example, if she were to fall off that bridge, there are a lot of resources down there in the waters below to help save her and get her back to where she needs to be. On this side, that's not so much the case. You don't get that. The waters are dangerous, the bridge isn't as well built, and quite honestly, the opportunities and avenues just aren't there in abundance. So what that brings me to is where Bridge falls into all this. This is, quite honestly, my idea of Bridge and why Bridge is important to me. We know that there's a spectrum in between. Kids fill all these gaps. And to David's credit, Bridge has never discriminated between this kid and that kid over there. But I've always seen Bridge as a fulfillment, as providing an avenue with lacrosse to help this kid over here, to provide a bridge where something doesn't exist today. And for those of you that aren't as familiar with the game of lacrosse, for a long time, historically, the game has thrived over here with the Suzes of the world. Not so much over here with the Tansies. If you're not familiar with programs like Bridge, they don't really exist nationally. There's a handful of these programs dedicated to lacrosse that exist across the country. No more than a handful, probably no more than a dozen. David could probably tell you more about that, but that's neither here nor there at the moment. Also, if you look at Dallas and programs like this, not a lot of these programs exist in Dallas today. So really what Bridge is doing in this community is special, it's unique, and it has an opportunity to make a tremendous impact. So where I'm going with that is I'd like to tell my story a little bit about why I'm part of Bridge and why this program means so much to me. I joined up pretty much sight unseen. I didn't know a lot about Bridge. I just knew that I wanted to volunteer coach, and David built that Bridge for me from the beginning. But once I got here, I started to realize more about what Bridge is about. And I immediately began to question where I fell into the mix and why I was here. I knew I wanted to volunteer coach. That's always been a passion of mine. But I wanted to make sure that I was doing it for the right reasons. To give you just a small anecdote about that first game that I showed up to in my first season, and just really quickly, you'll notice that, or if you know anything about the Bridge program and the teams I coach, I don't look like my players don't look like me. That's obvious. So there's a lot of questions on both sides from both the people on the sidelines and the people behind the scenes about what my motivations are and why I'm out there. So that was even a question for myself. That's something David and I have gone back and forth about a lot of the time. And that really resonated with me to ask that question about why am I out here? Am I out here for the right reasons? I had serious concerns with my own self because I didn't want to be interpreted out there as trying to save anybody. You hear that bandied about a lot. I didn't think that was necessary. And at the same time, I didn't want to be the one that got interpreted as feeling bad for this kid over here, because that's not right either. That's not what they need. And I was really worried about that, and I would ask myself that question quite a bit. But every time I came back to the answer, it didn't sink in with me. I knew that wasn't right. Every time, I just went down that road and it wasn't working for me. But again, I just couldn't find the answer about why this program continued to resonate with me. So, to the credit of somebody that's actually out here in the audience, and again, with this prompt, it's actually going to be one of your future speakers here in a little bit. It's Kevon that helped answer this question for me, and Kevon's mom, with the letter that she sent into David about what the program has meant to Kevon. And it's that relationship with Kevon that really gave the answer to me. And what I mean by that is I came from over here. I came from a world where I didn't have to want for anything. I had every opportunity in the world. The bridges were already there. And I know that somebody like Kevon may not exactly have that in place. So what do I have in common with somebody like Kevon? Well, as it turns out, the one bridge that I didn't have in place at the time when I was growing up was that opportunity to play lacrosse. And what happened was somebody took a chance on me to play the game of lacrosse. And the game of lacrosse became more important to me than just a game. It became a safe place for me out in the field. It gave me an opportunity to build my confidence. It was the sport where I thrived. It arguably is what helped me survive high school. It really was foundational for me and has been foundational for me ever since. And so that's where Kevon comes into play, is I realized that in him as well. That's where we relate. Is that somebody like Kevon came to us with no prior experience in the game of lacrosse, but somebody had to take a chance on him, and he had to take a chance on us. And that's the avenue that Bridge provides. Somebody took a chance on me, and that's all I've ever wanted for the kids that I work with, is to give them a chance, to give them an opportunity to grow like I had an opportunity to grow. So when I think about everybody in this audience tonight, what I want you to take back with you is to re-examine the bridges that you're building in your life and the people that you're working with and the organizations you work with and those things that you're trying to accomplish. What I was thinking about along with this is when you're building bridges in life, you've got to ask yourself, what type of bridges am I building, and am I doing it in the right way? I was thinking about also a lot of people that go out to build bridges, and they just kind of run from one bridge to the next. Let's just put a hammer in their hand for the sake of hammering nails into the bridge to build a foundation. And you think about some of those people that run around from bridge to bridge and just take a swing at the bridge, and it doesn't matter if they hit the nail or not, they just swing. And they hit the foundation, and they might have done some good, they might have done some damage. I think that's a very limited impact. I don't know that that's doing a lot of good in the community. On the other side of that is also the person that does absolutely nothing. I don't think that's helping anybody either. I think there's a happy medium in all that, and I hope people can strive to find that. So tonight, as a takeaway, what I just want you to walk away with is, again, re-examine the bridges in your life and ask yourself what kind of impact you're making. And ask yourself, as you build those bridges, where are they going, and what can you do for this person over there What can you do for that person over there? And be willing to take a chance on someone, not just yourself. So thank you everybody for your time tonight, and we've got some great speakers ahead of you. So